Hello, hello. Welcome to the Five Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. I interview the top commercial real estate investors and industry experts so you can learn from their experiences. So if you're an investor, a high W-2 earner, or real estate or tech sales professional that wants to invest in real estate without having to manage properties or leave your day job, then this podcast is for you. Or if you're already investing in real estate, but you're doing it part-time and you want to become a full-time multifamily or full-time commercial real estate investor, this podcast is for you too. You're going to learn a ton. You will learn from real-life multifamily investors and other professionals in the industry. They're going to share their blueprints for success, and I'm super excited that you're here. So I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, hello. My name is Abel Pacheco. Welcome to the Five Talents Podcast, where we talk about real estate, commercial real estate, multifamily, a lot of other things. And we're super excited that we have Mr. William Walker with us today. William, thanks for joining, brother.
Abel, thank you. Honored to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you, carving a little time out of your day. And, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself, but first, so our listeners, really understand why they should be taking a few notes here and there along this conversation. William has a tremendous background in real estate. He's a recovering accountant and CPA, so I'm sure he can talk numbers with you. He's done some transactional real estate with Ernst & Young. He really left corporate career to go into business. And now he's a full-time multifamily investor and an operator. He's in $100 million worth of commercial real estate and assets under management. So there's 12 residential developments that he's into, as well as a multifamily development. We'll talk about that. And just an amazing individual. I was referred to him by one of my good friends, Maureen Miles, and I understand they partnered together. So I was like, man, I have to interview. So William, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, Abel. That was a killer introduction.
Yeah, man. You're the man. So why don't you start off? Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're doing today.
Yeah, so started working pretty early on, cutting grass and washing cars. So learned the value of hard work at an early age. And like you said, I joke around, I'm a recovering accountant and CPA, and that's what I studied in school and did internships. Came out of college and went to work in Ernst & Young in the transaction real estate group. And that really taught me a lot about the transactions process, and got to work on some really large deals, like when Mid-America purchased Post Properties in 2017. They bought about 20,000 apartment units. And we're a small consulting group that we're helping them through that transaction from a valuation process and a due diligence process. So really great learning opportunities with that group. And, around the same time was doing some coaching programs and getting involved with some of the networking organizations that I'm sure some of your listeners are familiar with. Met some great people in those organizations. And around 2017, March of 17, left the corporate life and went out on my own to start my own real estate investment group, and bounced around, struggled, hustled, lived on some peanut butter and honey sandwiches for a little while to make it work. Right. But, through that process and through that struggle, again, met some amazing individuals that helped me along my path. And now I'm thankful to say that full-time into the multifamily apartment business, and we're buying value add properties, and we're building new properties and partnering with individuals along the way to get that done.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And William is being pretty humble too, man. Even in his younger career, if you look him up on LinkedIn, he was a data analyst. He was a commercial real estate analyst for Ernst & Young. Even just the name Ernst & Young, super hard to get into, and you kind of coming off college and kind of entering that area. And then he worked at Greystone for a little while too. You have a tremendous professional background that you left. And so I'm sure that was even just different. Like, I don't know. You tell me what was going through your mind as you said, you know what? I could have an amazing professional career because you had one and could continue to develop, but you decided to leave it for, on your own. So tell us a little bit about that mindset, man.
Yeah, it was great experience, and I don't think I'd be where I am today without some of the training and the knowledge that people and that company poured into me. So very thankful for that opportunity and to be to work with that group. But also it was a lot of high level institutional. What I tell people is very forecast focused on that level, and joining some of the smaller groups was a great balance to that as well, and getting with individuals who are doing portfolios of single family homes in Chattanooga that they were buying for 40K and putting 20K into, and then all the way up to smaller multifamily syndicators and larger syndicators to see kind of the operation side of the business and what it takes to run one of these things day one. But that transition was tough. It was a hard decision. I definitely had doubts at times of I'm quitting something that's has great opportunity, but I think I have a family with a historic entrepreneur spirit. I think not in real estate, but in other businesses, and I was just at the point where I really wanted to go for it and try it, and I was okay with failing and not being able to make my plan work, but I needed to try. But it ultimately ended up working out for me, and my back was against the wall in many situations. Not that I'd advise it for everyone, but sometimes that's motivating, and just finding great relationships, educating yourself, and taking action. I think in anything you're trying to do, if you do those three things consistently, you're gonna get some results.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you very much for sharing. And like you said, some some PB&J, or what did you call it? A honey and
peanut butter and honey. Yeah,
peanut butter and honey,
absolutely.
Sandwiches. You got to do what you got to do sometimes.
That's right. Mini dinners on the peanut butter honeys.
So that's great. And then obviously, like you said, led to a lot of success. $100 million in assets under management. That's a lot of real estate. Just a lot of real estate,
Yes,
brother.
absolutely. It was it happened over a 2-year period. In 2018, I was part of my first larger multifamily purchase, and it's 160 units in south of Georgia, and we were in that property close to 10 million. Put about 3 million into capex over a 5-year period, and after that, it's kind of law of the first deal. We started hitting it off with a lot of brokers that we'd been building relationships with for the past 2 years, and lenders, and all these people with our network that we had established relationships with and had been working on. Once they see you close that first deal, you're automatically looked at in a different way as a closer. And then you have those team members that propel, and we started getting more opportunities from brokers, and 2019 was a huge year for us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's outstanding. The law of the first deal for those. So William, our guests, I think the listeners, we have a lot of probably passive investors, have a 13-year tech sales background. So I think I have a lot of people that are listening that are trying to learn more about real estate. It's passive. And then I've developed a lot of relationships with first time, second time, third time general partners. So those guys know the law of the first deal. For the passive investors that are listening, man, it's so hard to get your first multifamily syndication deal done. Nobody believes you can close. Nobody gives you the time of day. You're trying to raise capital. You're trying to do all these things together. But once you get the first one done, it's like they come steamrolling right after, one after another after another. And that's exactly what William was talking about. So that was really quick. You did that very fast. And so what are the biggest obstacles you had to overcome, the biggest hurdles, challenges, from the first deal to where you are today?
Yeah, I think it was just being persistent and organizing the team. This is a team sport. I don't do these deals by myself. This business doesn't get done by yourself. So I think surrounding yourself with the right people, and that takes time, because if you're going to have good people around you, you need to offer and add value as well. And that comes through grinding and getting experience and educating yourself. And organizing different people from an equity standpoint or an underwriting standpoint or a lending standpoint. So there's all different roles that go into these syndications and getting those done. And I think, bringing the full package together, it's like a developer in real estate. You're really kind of the, a manager or general in a way, and trying to organize all these moving pieces. So getting all those pieces organized and the relationships developed, it takes time. And if you're not willing to dedicate time to this, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen easily.
Yeah, you definitely have to make some sacrifices financially, with your time, with your energy, with your focus, all of the multiple things. So let's dig in right there. What were some of those actions that you had to take, or sacrifices you had to make, so that you could, have the success you're having today?
Yeah. And, I was working with the transaction real estate group. I didn't have the time to dedicate to the business that I thought I did. I was getting coaching. I was going through a program where I was around people that were getting these deals done. I saw it on the institutional side. I saw it on the more entrepreneurial boots on the ground side. And I had confidence that I could get it done. But that time was something that if I was going to work and be successful in a corporate job, I didn't feel like I could commit enough time to really make this work. So, number one was, I had to quit that job, and that's not the right move for everybody. I didn't have a lot of money. I wasn't well funded. I didn't have a ton of, I didn't come from a real estate family or have a ton of experience actually buying property, but I made that sacrifice and, kind of took the mindset that I'd figure it out, and, and hustled, educated myself, and just pretty much dedicated every waking hour to trying to get multifamily property done. And I had some good education behind me, but, I didn't go in a straight path right to, 160 units built in 86 with the partner that I'm working with now. It looks more like an S, a snake, but each, major milestone, it was real estate focus. It was, either single family portfolios in Chattanooga or a small 16 unit in Cleveland, Tennessee that I helped some investors with, to, ultimately, moving to Florida to work with a real estate group, and really just being persistent and dedicated to it, to learning and to taking action. But I think time, and it is a sacrifice. It, it, it probably happens easier for some people than it did me, but kind of working up to 2018 when I partnered with Maureen, you mentioned, who's awesome, and very thankful to work with her. The culmination of energy and focus and effort, I think, really came together in 18 when I had the opportunity to partner with someone who'd been in the business for 3 or 4 years before me. And I was able to add value, and obviously she was able to add value, having been in the business. And, that was a kind of like a gas and fire coming together in a way, or, so I think relationships is huge in this business as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so everything you mentioned is so true. The time, the education, the sacrifice, the learning, taking action, networking with the right people, and just all through that, I hear faith in your ability to make it happen. Otherwise, I don't think you would have left that professional job at an amazing corporation like E&Y, like Ernst & Young, man. And so,
well, thank you.
It's just, that you take a bet, and you're pretty,
right.
you're pretty young guy. Are you married with kids, or single in yourself?
Not yet. No, I'll be 31 this year, and no kids yet. No wife yet.
So I don't want to put you on the spot in case somebody's listening.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
cool,
not yet. A lot of sacrifice. Speaking of sacrifice, definitely relationships, sacrifice, going out and partying and hanging out with the guys on the weekends. A lot of that time was spent working or deal hunting, or just trying to figure out what step to take next.
Yeah, you got to do it. And I'm married. I have a 2.5 and a 1-year-old. And when me and my wife were talking about this, it was, the knee to knee, eye to eye discussion, hand in hand. And we're talking about it. And I go, babe, I'm going to have to go like a lot of weekends, a lot of education. My nights, I'm going to have to like take classes. I did the same thing, mentor, coaching, education, ton of networking. And I'm like, it's going to go on for a long time. And she's like, I think it's worth it. Right. So that
That's
was,
awesome.
what we were doing. So the sacrifice education, whether you're a single guy listening or married with kids and a full-time corporate job, both, a lot of similarities here. And, which is pretty awesome though to hear. A lot of successful
So
people similar. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so important to have a supportive spouse in that situation. That's awesome, because I know a lot of that's not easy to do. So
Yeah.
I think you're the real hero, Abel, with kids and a wife and making it be able to happen. That's more to juggle than I could say I have.
Yeah, man, we're trying.
You definitely can't feed the family on peanut butter and honey. That's for sure.
we're definitely working hard, man. And then God keeps blessing us. He makes a way somewhere. So that's good for us, man.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
for all the things that you've done, right? Uh, you can have you're on path, amazing trajectory. What's kind of like next for you guys, or or today rather? What are you doing today that will keep going for the next few years? What's on the plate today?
Yeah, we're really enjoying the business and having fun with what we do. I think, first and foremost, it's taking care of our existing investors and limited partners and making sure our investments are operating as expected. Second to that, we're looking for new opportunity to grow the company. That's kind of three segments. That's development and building from the ground up. That's value add and rehabilitation through construction with some of the older multifamilies, and then property management and taking on third party property management for other multifamily owners and operators.
Yeah, that's awesome. Find new ones and build them. Oh well, take care of your investors first on the existing, then find new properties, develop them. Your rehab, obviously, for your value adds, and then the vertically integrated
Yes,
property
sir.
management. Yeah, there you go. So how you guys have always been? You and Maureen have always been vertically integrated, or did y'all use property managers in the beginning, or how did that come to you starting your own? Your own.
Yes, no, not hasn't always been in place, but property managers were used in the beginning. And I recommend, if you're getting started and you're doing, your first deal, you are probably going to be required by the bank to use a third party manager, but probably you should, just to learn how they do things where you're not starting from scratch. But we ended up starting the management company through kind of pain of dealing with third-party management. And we had some great third-party managers, but at the end of the day, we just felt that it was best for us to start pouring time and effort into kind of building that platform. And just this past year in 2020, we partnered with an amazing woman who had started a company. She had 20 years experience with AMCO, which was one of the largest multifamily real estate investment trusts in the country at one time, asset managed and property managed for a large portfolio of an owner out of Atlanta. And we've kind of taken, our approach and her systems and approach and team that was being dissolved and partnered. So we're excited about that and being able to offer those services to third-party clients and operators that are frustrated with the day-to-day noise that seems to never end from property management through systems and integration and leveraging a great team that we partnered with.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And so now you guys are kind of also, well, not kind of, but you're also serving other clients at this point. So not just your own properties and your own property management, but other opportunities as well, correct?
That's right. Yeah, the CEO of Vicinity Living, Kimmer Holcomb, is running the show with the property management company, and our properties are being handled by her as well. But we're partnered in the company, have invested in the company, but on a day-to-day, it's Kimmer and her team that are executing and have awesome experience, and we're bringing expertise and our experience as well, but have started taking on third party this year.
Oh, that's great. It's, a lot of success to you guys, and just kind of keep coming. For those that are listening, what markets are y'all serving? Where do you want to focus on, or where are you guys at
Yeah,
today?
awesome. Thanks for asking. Pretty much east of the kind of the Mississippi. We're not in the western markets. Texas is included in that, and then southeast. So the Midwest, Southeast, Texas is our main focus. And
Yeah.
we're virtual asset management corporate team. We're able to onboard and really move into new markets quickly.
All right. All right. Well, congrats on that, man. And that's awesome. Hello, hello. You're listening to the Five Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. If you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you're serious about achieving financial freedom. Are you ready to create your own path through multifamily investing for yourself and your family? Then I know you're going to appreciate our Investor's Guide to Multifamily Investing. It's titled Tackling Commercial Real Estate the Easy Way. We use this guide to invest ourselves in $93 million worth of real estate. So we're going to show you the basic mechanics of multifamily syndications and how to evaluate your next passive investment opportunity. So the best part, if you subscribe to our podcast now, leave us a review and a rating. I'm going to give you a free copy of our ebook. So please take a moment to do that now. Once you've done that, go to 5tcre.com/ebook, 5tcre.com/ebook. Make sure to let us know you left a review, and we're going to send you a free copy. So thank you so much for subscribing to the Five Talents Podcast. We really appreciate it. So, we've talked a lot about, a lot of different subjects and topics. The couple that I think, maybe our listeners would love to hear about, and that's how to fund all these deals, right? Like investors, how in the world do I do that? And then the second one would be the construction, because you don't hear it a ton in the multifamily syndication world, or at least the people that I'm around today. So, maybe we can dig into that a little bit. So starting with construction, what led you guys to do new development? And then maybe what are some of the big differences between a normal syndication deal?
Yeah. So construction was one of the, when I talked about, I didn't have a straight line getting to multifamily. Construction was one of those things. It was in that S, right?
Yeah.
So after I quit Ernst & Young, before I had partnered with Maureen, I was working with a group of guys that I'd gone to college with. They had some construction background. And that's when we were building the short-term rentals, the HPRs in Nashville. Got about 12 of those done. And I inserted myself as a project manager on one of those deals, and was, being directed by the general contractor, but really learned a lot about construction, and ultimately wasn't executing the construction, wasn't swinging the hammers, but I was coordinating all of the different trades. I was making payments, arranging schedules, working with the city on codes and getting permits requested and approved. So it was a really great learning experience for me during that time. And I would recommend, people getting involved, because if you're looking at value add and trying to, execute on value add, construction is a huge component. And then the new development is also an opportunity that we're seeing right now because of prices rising in the value add space, and, becoming more economical to build and more predictable to build. So I think we're just looking for new frontiers and trying to provide new and flexible opportunities for our investors. And we're seeing opportunity in new development, and are building experience to get there, and trying to take the right steps, similar to how we did in value add.
Yeah. That's so amazing. And you can, I've heard it a few times, and I've said it a couple times, which is new development is the ultimate value add, right? You start with dirt and you build it, man.
But from construction and raising equity, I think you just got to, get your stripes. And, it's hard to be taught this in school. There's some real estate programs out there, but you really need to, get involved. And that doesn't mean you have to, put on your boots and go onto a construction site, which I love to do, and is awesome. But you can learn in other ways, and just by being around the environment. And if you're really dedicated to making this business work, like, you've got to figure out ways to get experience and do those things, like, being a project manager that's basically an assistant to a general contractor for a new development house. Or getting involved in a construction project and a rehab. So, and then, with the raising equity piece, I think, a lot of the relationships that we've built have been through conferences and networking organizations that bring these people together. And, from there, I think it's just building trust. There's no secret sauce. You've got to communicate to the right people what you're looking to do, and build trust and, commonality with those individuals, that they trust you as a good steward of their hard-earned money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that takes time. It takes time to find those people, meet those people, and build that trust.
Yeah, agreed. And then the deals are different. The payouts, the distributions, the length of time. There's not exactly cash flow from the beginning. It's we'll talk to you about cash flow in a couple of years once it's built, right? So tell us about a little bit about the
side. Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about, or what you can share, what you feel comfortable sharing about some of the distribution kind of models you guys have.
Yeah. So first off, I'm proud to say that we didn't pause any distributions going through the pandemic that we're still weathering through. Some operators forego distributions to build up reserves or to do what they needed to do, but we were able to continue with our distributions as planned, and haven't missed a distribution ever to date. But we have flexible deals, and that's one of the things that is really interesting about the business and how you structure equity. The debt's more fixed with the agency side, but how you structure the equity component, we try and model and meet our investors' needs. Some investors are looking for more of a short-term investment where they can get their capital back in 2 to 3 years. And then there's some investors we work with that are more long-term, and let's say are expecting to have their capital in for 5 years. So the distributions are going to look different between those two models that we cater to. And also the returns and the risk, but we try and meet investors' needs and find deals for those two different buckets.
Yeah, and so that makes perfect sense, and I appreciate the answer. Hopefully, I didn't maybe miscommunicated in my question too. What I was asking about was the construction specific. You have like. But it's okay because that's good. Everybody wants to know.
Well,
nice to know you guys keep
money.
hitting it. Yeah.
No, you're spending money on construction. There's not a lot of liquidity to pay. To pay cash flow and distributions like some investors are expecting. But there's typically larger pops on the back end. So I guess it's finding investors that value kind of capital gains and tax advantages more than that cash flow.
Yeah, because all the money's going out in year one.
Right,
year two,
exactly.
And,
and it can be if you don't understand how to execute, and obviously there's risk involved, it can get messy. But if done correctly, it can be extremely advantageous from a tax standpoint if you need taxable deductions, and then capital gains at some of the lowest taxable earnings that you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. All of this has been amazing to talk about. So I really appreciate your time, William. And when you raise capital, or maybe kind of steer this way now in the direction of like, where do you find all the money for these deals, right? And I know our new general partners, new individuals that are kind of just raising capital for the first deal or the second deal, and everyone's trying to find more. And then our investors that are probably listening are thinking like, how do we do that? I'm a $50,000 investor. Where do they get millions and millions of dollars? So how does it all come together where you guys can continue to raise capital for these deals, and maybe just give us a broad stroke understanding of it?
Yeah, I think you got to start where you are. And, obviously you want to attack larger deals and that's the end goal. But, if you're not capable of going out and getting $50,000 from one investor, then, raising 5 million might be a little more than you can bite off right now. So I would say, start with where you are and get deals done where you can and be successful with those investors. And, that's going to lead to more investors. And that's what I did in the beginning with some of the single family homes that we developed with the team. I was raising money from investors and partnering with the GC and the friend that I had in school and bringing those two together to get deals done. That built credibility. And then the networking and meeting individuals and partnering with the right individuals. I still don't raise the majority of the equity that we put forth and put to work in our deals. But finding people that have been in the business longer or that are more focused on just the equity component. We meet a lot of people that think they want to get into the operation side of the business, and they find out that it's more work and more effort than what they really want to get themselves into and become limited partners. So, there's just, I think that's one of the toughest parts of the business is finding those partners and building the trust in individuals that know you will protect their capital. And I think you don't build that trust without communicating that you've done deals, you've been in the trenches, you're willing to sleep on the leasing office couch, to make that deal work if you need to. And that it takes time, and you got to find the right people, be in the right circles. And I'm still working on that myself and would like to be able to raise more capital as time goes on. And luckily I've been surrounded with some great people that, between all of us, we've been able to fund the deals that we've done.
Yeah. That's great. That partners are so key.
But I can't take full credit for the equity raise that we've done, but partnering, relationships.
Yep. 100%. Right. You're what I heard, if I could summarize and hopefully you can agree with what I think I heard, right? Which is you are getting around the people that can invest in your deals. By starting where you're at today and your comfort level and your expertise, and then you kind of build on that. And that's how you do that as an individual. They're going to, you establish trust with them and they'll keep investing with you. And then to get bigger deals, you're trying to find, great partners, because it is a team sport. It's not just you as an individual. You're partnering with other individuals, and they may have longer, tenure, expertise, which probably means more success and more investors willing to rock and roll. And then you guys and then you yourself, how do I partner with like individuals, and all come together, and then you kind of keep going from there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great, man. That's all good nuggets. So at this point, we've really went around the horn, a lot of different topics in a short amount of time. One thing I didn't ask about that I do want to talk about. So looking at your background, you spent some time at Vector Marketing and Cutco.
Yes, sir.
So for those that know me kind of personally or heard my story long enough, I sold knives, and we did them through in-home presentations, and I did that for about 5 or 6 years. And I was a college kid, slanging blades, and paid for my education. I was a pretty sharp salesman, and my friends would joke around at me all the time. Oh, the knife guy, right? But it built on or provided a really great foundation or platform for a lot of my successes. So William, we had some time at Vector Marketing, Cutco. Yes. I got to dig into this, dude. Tell me about your experience.
I'm so glad you brought it up. Yeah, we had a good laugh before about it, but what you just said, the experience and some of the skills that I took from Vector Marketing were awesome and really helped me where I am today and get to where I am today. I didn't have a lot of sales experience or was never really a sales guy growing up, but that was one of my first sales roles. I did it for about 12 months. It was a side hustle kind of thing on top of another job I was working, but it was character building. It got me out of my comfort zone. I was cold calling. I was learning to deal with customers. They teach you to overcome objections. So Yeah, not that I had a dream or wanted to be the largest knife salesman or really even imagine myself as a salesman, but the skills that I learned there carried me far and beyond what I ever expected. So it was a great experience and awesome that I think you were a killer at it and really grew a business out of it and made it into more of an entrepreneurial effort. But the knowledge I got from the sales skills was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. What
Good
what
to share
city did you?
stories.
Yeah, absolutely. What city did you work out of?
I was in Nashville.
Okay. Do you remember your, district manager's name or
Yeah,
division
Andrew
manager?
Smalls was one of kind of my he wasn't the head chief at
Yeah,
my office, but kind of the guy right below him, and
probably as
was an
assistant manager or a field sales manager.
very awesome sales guy. I learned a lot from Andrew. But yeah, it was good. It was one of my few like true sales roles, and it opened my eyes to a lot of things. I've read some sales books since then, and it
Yeah.
was a great experience. I would
Yeah.
highly recommend people that are new to, I mean, younger than going into college or high school, like
Yeah.
get a sales job, get some of that experience in dealing with people, and it was great for me.
Yeah, being there for the time that you were, most people are in and out in like under 2 months. I mean, like really quickly. And so the time that you spent there was awesome. How old were you when you started?
I want to say I was probably 19-ish, like
Cool.
20. I mean, I think I was just getting out of college. Or just getting out of high school, just starting kind of college days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll never what a great product. They got the scissors that'll cut through the penny. Replace pretty much anything.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I love
It
that you have that experience and started and
yeah.
managed your own office with it.
Yeah, it was fun. We end up working with a lot of, 18 to 20 something year old, young kids through college, through high school. And really when William says sales role, it's definitely not I'm working at the mall behind the counter type of job. It is a
No.
pick up the phone, call somebody, set an appointment, go out
Prospect,
to their
yes.
house, prospect, cold calling, introduce yourself, and then
Character
manage your own
building.
time, man. It's manage your own. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Character building was no, I'm not going to let you into my house with some knives. I don't know you. And then, the time management, how motivated you have to be to kind of like light your
Absolutely.
own fire and then go deliver. Cause if you don't do it, then you're not going to eat that week. Right. And
It's
100% commission too. So
absolutely similar in real estate. When you're first getting started, there's not a lot of money coming in, and you've got to have that faith, putting in the time and the effort and prospecting all those different people that ultimately that payday is going to come.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, good, man. Well, so if our listeners, our network wants to get closer to you, wants to be in your world, wants to reach out, what's the best place for them to reach out to you?
Our website at www.4mrei.com is a great place to get in touch with me through email. And then I'm on social media as well at willwalker_3 at Instagram.
All right. And I'm sure you'd be happy to either spend some time with them, or you probably have some content, some education, something in
Yeah,
those areas, right?
absolutely. I got a lot of help getting going in this business, and I enjoy trying to help and guide where I can as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there anything we didn't talk about, anything we didn't hit on today that you're hoping I asked, or just anything you want to share, man? Time is yours.
I don't think so, Abel. I really appreciate you having me on your platform. Had a killer time talking real estate with you. Shared stories
Yeah.
about old sales training days and ultimately what it takes to be successful in this business. I wish you luck in your pursuits, and thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you very much, Mr. William Walker. What a great time, man. Thank you very much. My name is Abel Pacheco. I'm your host for the Five Talents podcast. And if you learned something today, go to our podcast, leave us a review, put a 5-star rating, put a note for William if you learned more than a few nuggets. And if you didn't catch it, hit the rewind button, grab a notepad and a pen. There is definitely more than a few in this show. So we just appreciate your time and thank you very much. Abel Pacheco with the Five Talents podcast. William, you're the man.
All right, Abel. Thank you.
All right, brother. Talk soon. All right, my friend. That was good, man. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Great talking with you.
The Cutco, man.
Yes. Yeah, we got to stay in touch. I'd love to hear about some of the projects you're doing and what you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to continue the conversation. I'm a big fan of Maureen. Um,
Yeah,
I, I
Maureen's awesome.
I think I heard her. I think at the Rod Cleef event, maybe in Baltimore, and then again
Okay.
in Los Angeles last year when we were able to get together.
I
Golly,
know,
man,
right?
what a crazy time, dude.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
I met with her, and she's just like super big, freaking crazy
Yes.
capital raiser, ton of doors. And then when I meet her and talk to her, she's just like down here, regular, normal, average. I'm able, yeah. Oh, nice to meet you, Maureen. I'm a regular person. I'm like, oh, you're real. So it's pretty cool. So I thought she was awesome.
Yeah, it's some of the people you get to meet and work with are awesome in this business. It's funny how we started working together, but I don't think either one of us ever planned it. But yeah, we met in 2016 at RE Mentor, David Lindahl. I don't know if you've been to any of his
I,
events yet, but
I haven't been, but I keep hearing his name.
yeah, that's kind of like the granddaddy, I feel like, of some of the events.
Yeah,
And then I actually worked for Rod,
you did.
and I
Awesome.
did. Yeah, I was at his event in Los Angeles in February. But when he first did his first event in February or January of 18, I think it was, I was living in Sarasota, kind of helping him with acquisitions at the time, and he was going more into the coaching and education. We still have a great relationship with Rod, but he was a mentor for me along the way as well. And yeah, no,
That's awesome.
connected Rod and Maureen, and I love going to the conferences, and Maureen's been going to conferences for years and years. So you meet great people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Someday, sometime in the future again.
Absolutely.
We went to the Raising Money Summit with Adam Adams, and I think
Yep.
I'm registered for Rod's events in like a week or two. But it's like, when I'm an extrovert, so it's kind of miss getting together. On the
I
flip
know it's
side,
just not the same with the virtual.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
I
That's
mean,
a
I
go
people are
ahead.
doing what they need to do, but it's not the same.
Yeah, yeah. We started a meetup last year, and we got to about 100-ish people and 70 people that would show. Like 100 people register, 70
Yeah,
show in
70
person.
consistent.
And
Nice.
just in San Antonio, in our neck of the woods, and that got steamrolled. Really got going, and then COVID
Mm.
last yeah, on Wednesday. So yesterday afternoon, we had our first like 50 person, maybe 40 people in person virtual meetup, and we finally had at least the somewhat of a number back. But yeah, still nothing like we used to. But anyways, we're working on it, man. But that's good,
Yeah,
man.
killer. You gotta. Yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of getting back on the road and be able to do the events and the meetups. So it'll happen, but we'll see when.
I think 2 years. I think two
You think
years.
it's gonna be that long? Oh,
Yeah, they've said what I heard yesterday was not pandemic stuff, just recession, right? Like normal recessions historically are about a 2-year time frame,
yeah,
start to finish. And they go, well, we're pandemic recession and global, not just our
that's
our
true. Yeah,
US, right? So they're like, it's probably going to be longer, like 3 years. And so I know the recession part is different than meeting in person, but it does include like, oh yeah, we have the money, we're going to go out, we're going to spend, we're going to travel. There's a lot of things all balled up
yeah.
into
That
like,
it's
yeah,
gonna
we
take
can
a
go to an
while to get
event.
that confidence back, that consumer confidence for sure.
Yeah, so at least another year. Some people have done it. I think Michael Blank did one in person like a
Okay.
month ago or something. And I know Brad Sumrock has done one in person, but
I was at the one at
okay,
Sunrocks in
okay,
Dallas.
yeah,
Yeah, and it was limited. I mean, he had it social distance, and it felt good. But yeah, I feel like we got to start getting back to that. Otherwise, people are just going to be, we got to start somewhere. But it'll
yeah,
be interesting to see. I mean, I know there's big risk and of catching it, not as big risk of dying from it. But I don't know. I feel like I'm not the type that wants to sit at home and hide from everything that could kill me. And I know who's ultimately in control. So
amen. Right.
Yeah, right. So, but we got to take the necessary precautions to protect the highest risk individuals, but move forward with life.
Yeah. Right on, man. We'll keep.
I'll get off my soapbox.
No, you're good. You're good, man.
No.
But well, God bless you, brother. Awesome. Good talking to you too, man.
You as well. God bless you. Thank you for having me on.
All right, man. Talk soon.
Bye, Abel.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the 5 Talents Podcast with your host, myself, Abel Pacheco. Each week, we're going to bring you interviews from industry experts and commercial real estate investors who followed their dreams and achieved massive success. Before you leave, let me ask you a few questions. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you learn something valuable? Was your mind stretched to what's possible and what you can achieve? Do you want other experts just like the one you heard today? If you answered yes to any or all of those questions, then please take a moment to subscribe to the 5 Talents Podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and most importantly, leave us a written review. Tell us what you liked, tell us your favorite guest, give us any feedback. I'm excited to learn and improve so you can get a more valuable show. So thank you again for subscribing to the 5 Talents Podcast.